So, welcome. My name is WriterMaven. I am the host of the Wrestling Receipt podcast. I cover all things Judgment Day, Don, Liv, Raquel, JD, Finn, and Carlito, and everything else, like including my writer, Naomi. I wasn't going to come on tonight. I wasn't really. I was going to save because I had some things happen to me earlier today that I wanted to talk about, and I tried to go live earlier, but it wasn't working. But I was going to save that to like Sunday, but guess what happened today? The dreaded mass WWE releases. And this particular release is of superstars from the main roster and NXT. It's gutting. And for the women, I would put this up with the mass gutting of the women's roster that happened during the Ruthless Aggression era, where Mickey James, Melina, Beth Phoenix, Gail Kim, Reese, all of them got released at the same time. I would put this current release of people up there with that, if anybody remembers that. But part of the reason why this release is so gutting is because it totally decimated the women's tag team division. Like, it was barely holding on before the releases. They had that gauntlet match. Everybody got ran through. There was a tag team. We had a poorly placed together tag team of single divisions. One got taken out so Becky can win at WrestleMania. It was a whole mess. And then we had the full concern that when Liv got this movie role and she was going to be gone for a few Raws, then everybody was all concerned. But what about the tag team divisions? They should not have won it back. They should have let Gigi and Tatum win the tag team titles. Now, with these releases, now we can see why Liv and Raquel have it, but we also know why Liv and it's a problem why Liv and Raquel have these tag team titles because the division now is officially dead or essentially dead because of what happened today, and the WWE is totally foul with doing all these releases right after getting millions of dollars for WrestleMania 41. And charging 40K for front row seats at SummerSlam. But I am going to go over the release list. There was two new names that got added prior to me joining live, so that's why I was late. So I want to talk about. I'm going to get the whole list of who was released, and this was given by Sean Ross Sapp. So current releases are Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, Hidden Carter, and Katana Chance from the main roster. From NXT, it is Cora Jade, Gigi Collin, Gallus, was that Irish tag team, Eddie Thorpe, Riley Osborne, Jakara Jackson, Ora Mensa, and Big Body Jobby. Now, Cora Jade, Gigi, and Jakara Jackson were treated filthy in the lead up to these releases. Cora was ripped away from Roxanne and any potential storyline where she just disappeared for 2 weeks. And then Gigi was used to take the pin for last week against Liv and Raquel. And then she was briefly shown. She was shown on Tuesday. So they were using her all the way up until the last minute with Tatum. And then Jakara, along with Ora Mensa, were part of Metaphor, who had that big breakup on Tuesday as well. So not only did the Metaphor girls got split up with Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, the whole Metaphor group got decimated because the only people standing are Lash Legend and No Man Dar. So they went through that heartbreaking breakup, and we're thinking that Jakara Jackson might be able to do some things on her own in NXT, only for her to get released. And same thing with Ora Mensa. And when we talk about the party girls of Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, now their complaints after the gauntlet match was now they make sense because they were complaining about like opportunities and things like that, and now it just totally makes sense. They saw the writing on the wall. They got used for a gauntlet and ran over, even though they were like the only legit tag team there, as opposed to Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. and then now they're gone. Shayna Baszler has been ripped away from Zoe Stark, so that's another tag team that's decimated. So it's only Zoe Stark standing, and Shayna Baszler is gone. Dakota Kai got benched, even though she was healthy, and they wouldn't even put her back with Io for no reason. And this is a person that made it to the finals of the Intercontinental Championship for the women. So you had Dakota do all that, get to the finals, and then have some matches with Lyra, and then she gets benched and then released. Braun Strowman, no matter how you feel about him, he destroyed his body to put over Jacob Fatu and Bronson Reed. They had some really good meaty man eating meat um, matches where Bronson pretty much jacked up his body, like he had like a what was it, a torn groin or something like that. Like he jacked up his body in these matches to get Jacob and um, Bronson over. And remember, these are people. This is and Bronson. Remember, like with Dakota Kai, he was brought back. So Dakota Kai and Bronson were released previously, and then they got brought back, and then they got released again. Like I said with Shayna, they broke up another tag team. So there goes the other legitimate tag team there that just isn't piecemeal together from single stars. Um, so yeah, it's just and then from NXT, we had Big Body Javi. Big Body Javi is Tatum's husband, so her husband gets released. Ormond was part of Men of Four. Riley Osborne was a part of Chase U, which is getting restarted. So you thought he could be a part of that? Nope, no go. Eddie Dorp was Native American representation, who I really liked, and now he's gone. Gallup, I found them boring, but I'm not an advocate of people losing their jobs. I don't care how boring they are. You know, there's always a spot for somebody, especially when you need like jobbers and things like that. There's always a spot for them. And then Gallus helped the Brock train for WrestleMania last year. So again, it still feels really shitty. So yeah, but this release was just pretty much a lot of women that could have contributed to the tag team division, and now they're gone, and the tag team division is decimated. And remember, they have Evolution 2 coming up. So what happens with that PLE? You have these women that could have been used like for NXT stuff, main roster stuff, things like that, and now they're gone. Now you can say there's a glut of talent in NXT that needs to be called up. Okay, fine. But with these women, they were getting used. They had some personalities, but then they just get yanked out of what they were doing, and now they're gone. And this goes to show you how they just have the title on Liv. So whenever Liv goes around doing all this press tours for the WWE, she has a nice shiny belt to flash around. Because who is she going to? Who is Liv and Raquel going to face now? And don't say Julia and Roxanne because you're going to be in the same situation. They win the title, and then what? You're still a dead division. There's no teams. You can probably piecemeal somebody in NXT. You can probably piecemeal somebody on the main roster, which is going to happen soon, which I will talk about because of what happened on SmackDown. But the division is just decimated, and Liv and Raquel have nobody to face. Well, they do, but really, right now, they don't. And for all the squawking about Liv and Raquel not being able to defend their titles, now look at what happened. Um, and now Liv being gone and taking this time off to film this movie doesn't seem so bad because what will she come back to? Nothing. Nothing. She and Raquel are probably gonna be more involved with Judgment Day stuff than the actual tag team because there is no tag team for her and Raquel to face. So yeah, I'm disgusted pretty much with these releases. These releases just they make me feel sick because no matter how you feel about certain people, um, just got treated filthy, even though they got used up all the way until their release. Gigi just got used to take a pin last week. Rox Cora Jade got ripped away from Roxanne when you thought they were going to have a little feud, kind of like how Roxanne got ripped away from Bailey. And Roxanne ain't doing all that much better either. She's just with Gulia now, but she's not doing much better because she keeps losing. What is she like 3-18 now for wins and losses? And it's and then the party girls, they couldn't even get another chance to do anything for their tag team, and they were a legit tag team. Now they're gone. Shayna never really had a real good opportunity to be something on the main roster like she was in NXT all these years ago. And now Zoe is just going to be fooling around with nobody. So Zoe is like the only stud line PFC member that's left. Sonya is gone, and now Shayna is gone. And now Zoe's the only one left. So it's the whole thing just decimated the women's roster. And yeah, we have a lot of women's talent down there. You can bring up the Stephanies, and you can bring up the Gulias and the Roxannes and all that. But that's only like one, two, three people. They released a whole lot more. So you got three people that might come up. Okay, fine, but the main roster wise, they released a lot more people. You released like a whole tag team and a half, and then Dakota, so that's four. And I'm still thinking that we might have other people released. Like right now, I haven't even checked the X to see if there was anything else. Like Sean Ross Sapp, they thinking that was like Oral was like the last one to be released, but we don't know that until maybe Monday or something. But it's the whole thing is just fucked up. I don't really like how they do these releases after they announce record-setting attendance and how they announce all this revenue for WrestleMania and how they're shilling these 40K front row seats at SummerSlam. The WWE can be really fucked up. And it's on TKO and Triple H because Triple H has a duty as creative to make sure all these people are utilized, and he doesn't do that. And TKO is just pretty much trying to monetize every little thing. So the whole situation between Triple H and TKO is extremely fucked up. But that's it for that. I'll be monitoring to see if there's anybody else that will get released by the end of this live. But I think hopefully that's it for now. And I don't really want to hear about other people like why aren't they standing? Like I know there's some people where I think why do they still have a job, but still I'm not actively wishing for somebody to lose their job. So anyway, so I just wanted to get that off my chest because there was just a whole crazy thing in my comments today. We got some Liv news. It was reported by Sean Ross Sapp that Liv will be back in mid-May. So that's at least maybe two Raw. So we're already in May now. Um, so it's going to be like two Monday Night Raws and back. So that is not even enough time for one to get any kind of cheating scenario with Dom, and it's not really even that much time for Finn to do anything. I really don't think Finn. I mean, Finn can try, but I don't think it's going to be something where Liv comes back and there's like the whole clubhouse is on fire. I mean, maybe it's starting to get to that point, but I don't think it's too short a time, and the way Triple H books things so slowly, I don't think we're gonna get too much like rapid progression. Now, if we do, I'll be surprised. But Liv will be back in mid March, and then not mid March, mid May. And then on SmackDown tonight, we had Michin and B-Fab want to challenge for the Liv and Raquel for the titles. I said on the X tonight, I said no hate to Michin and B-Fab because I love them to death, but it's extremely foul to run out Michin and B-Fab as wanting a tag team, title opportunity when all these women that were a team just got released. Like, that's just extremely tone deaf and foul. I didn't like it. Like, you could have waited a week on that. I mean, Liv is not there. You could wait for, like, give it a week where next week, Meechin and BFAB want to challenge for the titles. Be sensitive. There was no point of running BFAB and Meechin out there anyway because they were only out there for 5 seconds. Like, I could almost understand if they wanted to run, like, a match between Meechin and BFAB and the Secret Her service to like do like some kind of number one contender or something like that. If they wanted to do it that way, okay, fine. It's still tone deaf and insensitive, but I can see it. But they were just on there for 5 seconds just for that. So I found that really cruel. Like we had Kaden and Carter and Katana Chance and Shayna released, and here you are talking about a tag team titles. And again, this is not hate to be Fab and Meechin. This is just hate at the creative process and them and the WWE being slick for putting that out there. Um, 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 oh, and yeah, there is a little bit of Rhea news because she's in Australia. Oh, yeah. Rhea's in Australia to advertise for Crown Jewel Perth. And guess what happens on the day of the PLE Crown Jewel Perth is happening? That's Rhea's birthday. So I said on the X, all we're going to get is about 3 hours of Rhea Ripley glazing during that PLE. Because already people are peeping that one, she's going to either come into that PLE as the champ or she's coming out of that PLE as the champ. And then it's just, we just see what's going on. We see that what's going to happen. She's going to get all the glazing. And people say, well, what about Grayson Waller? Who cares about Grayson Waller? I mean, I don't think Grayson Waller is going to get like any kind of win in Australia. And Bronson Reed might be able to show up there too, but I don't think you're not going to get something like Rhea Ripley. We just know that she's going to, everything is going to be routed through her. And one of my good buddies on the X said that, nobody but her can change the path of the division because of Triple H. So we're going to have to, so we're just going to have to deal with like how everything comes together for Perth. Like I said, she's gonna either come in as a champ or going out as a champ. And I'm just sick to death of it. It's like that's an extreme glazing. Like on her birthday, really? Like we're gonna be in Australia. Like if Dom and Liv and Raquel aren't on that PLE, then I am not getting up to watch that piece of shit PLE. I'll wait until after is done and I can watch it in my leisure time. I'm not watching that live. I did that last time and I was extremely pissed how Damien and Finn got left out of the press conference during that time when they were having a championship match. Like there was only like 4 matches and you had Damien and Finn going against what Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate and they were like the only match that didn't get like a press conference like deal. And I said and I found that really really shitty because you flew Damian, Finn, and Dom all the way to Australia. This is what I was always complain about with Dom. Like you always flying Dom all the way out there for this shit, and then you only use him for a little bit. Like, and they couldn't even get on the press conference. So this year, I'm not going to be watching this piece of shit. And then during today, she called Dom her boyfriend. Now, y'all know I have followed Judgment Day since the inception. Since the beginning, since Dom and Rhea were together, Rhea did not call Dom her boyfriend. So people online again were like, "What the fuck? Why are you calling Dom your boyfriend?" See, this is this rewriting history shit again. Like, why? She said, "I lost a boyfriend." Like, I lost my boyfriend. Like, you didn't claim Dom as his boyfriend when Dom tried to claim Rhea as his. You remember what happened? She said she didn't belong to anybody. She never claimed Dom as her boyfriend. Never. Not on social media, not on TV. And then she said that she always fights for who she loves, but she didn't fight that with Dom. And people always want to twist that statement around, like to say, like, well, why would she fight for somebody that cheated on her? I mean, this is talking about like before the cheating. When she got back, there was like a whole month from when she got back to SummerSlam where she could have been fighting for Dom, and she didn't. It was all about the title. So she would fight for the title, but she never did love Dom. And like I said, when Dom tried to claim her, she wasn't having it. So how is Dom the boyfriend? Again, like this, why are we trying to get some sympathy now? Like why are we why are we describing Dom in that way? We never heard you explain Dom in this way. He was never your boyfriend. I saw somebody, my friend on the X said it was like a situational ship, and I can see that. And like I said, it has some really cute moments there, but you can't say. But for all the cute moments that they had, you can't say that Rhea claimed Dom as her boyfriend. He was more flirtatious with Jay, and again, that's why people get pissed off with her when she does this shit. Like, you can't be like saying, "Oh, Tom was my boyfriend," and trying to get sympathy, like because and then what was it that she said? Like he left her or he left, he broke up. It was something, and people are like, "No, he left you, dude. You're trying to twist everything to make yourself look good," and people weren't having it, and I wasn't having it. Like, what you people like, what boyfriend? That's you weren't. He was not your boyfriend. So it was just really, really, it just was really, really glaring, and I'm really tired of them rewriting history with Rhea. Like we've seen what happened with Rhea. There's no point in trying to rewrite the history. There's no point in trying to make yourself look better. Like, why are we trying to rewrite history now? There's no point. Like, let it be alone. Like, look, Dom left you. Dom, you can even just say Dom cheated on you. But like I said, you can't really say Dom cheated on you when you don't even act like you were cheated on. So you got they made a mistake. They fucked up on all of that. So you can't come back now and be like he was my boyfriend. No, you can't do that. You never did that. You never claimed that in the whole 2 years that y'all were together. You can't do that. But that's just one of those aggravating things. Like now we gotta look forward in October for this Perth PLE of Rhea just probably standing tall with a title or something like that and winning and stuff like that. And somebody said now with the Crown Jewel Championship, if they do something like that. Now watch how that title will mean something to Rhea, even though they were saying that it doesn't count with Liv. So we got to be dealing with that in October. But it is what it is. We'll deal with that in October. So yeah, so to wrap this up, the releases suck. I'm tired of WWE doing these releases after WrestleMania, after they do these record breaking attendance things and record breaking revenue, and the whole women's tag team is decimated. It's pretty much dead, but they only got the title on Liv and Raquel, so Liv can walk around when she's doing the press thing and have a title on her shoulder. That's the only reason she has it. And it keeps Liv out of the main championship programs. Because I'm pretty much sure that if Liv didn't have this belt, she would just be around and doing, she would just be around and be in Dom's like support role, and then she probably wouldn't be wrestling. Okay, so let me answer some questions. I'm going to run through this. There's something going on that I need to attend to. So, like I said, this was impromptu, so I wasn't really planning for this, but let me run through the questions. So, Kenji says Rhea calling Dom boyfriend. Yeah, that's why I mentioned the Rhea stuff because I wasn't even going to mention it. But yeah, like, there's no point in Rhea calling Dom her boyfriend. Like, she never did call him that. Okay, so did you hear the news about Liv? If this is about Liv, it's going to be out for like a couple of Raws. Yeah. Kenji says, I feel like the tag titles are dead, but to be honest, the tag team title need to retire. Triple H is not going to retire those belts because that's a way to stash women that he wants out of the title scene. He'll give them a belt and let them hang around there until he needs them, or they get released or something like that. Those belts aren't going to retire. That's just like a safety. That's like a safety mechanism. If you want somebody that's important and you want them to run around with like a belt, you give them that title belt. It's like what he's doing with Liv right now. Pidgey says Becky's not winning because Bayley's costing Becky. I hope so because I really don't want to see Becky with the IC. I can see Liv with the IC so she can match with Dom, but Becky with it, nah, she don't need that belt. Let Becky feud with Bayley or Lyra, but she don't need to be winning a title. Kenji said Liv is gonna hold that tag title for with 1,000 days. You might as well. Kenji said Pat is gonna get destroyed by Gunther. I hope so because they need to write him off for NFL stuff anyway in college football. You heard Kathy Kelly is going to be a manager in the WWE. Yeah, and I think it was really foul that Samantha wanted to be a manager, but she was told no, and that's why she left. And people want to spin this like, well, Kathy's been around and she worked her way to it. But yeah, but Samantha has a right to be like, hey, I wanted to be a manager. She just got stuck in that announcing role because she got too good at it. But she didn't want to be an announcer. She wanted to be a manager. And I think it's really foul that now Kathy Kelly can now do all this, get this training for manager when that's all Samantha wanted to do. Like this seems to me like there would be no issue with Samantha doing some training to be a manager because you might want to have an announcer do some bumps. You might want to have an announcer do a little bit of things on the side. So why couldn't she do that? And as for Kathy Kelly, fuck Kathy Kelly. I can't stand her. And if she's going to be a manager, why don't you just go ahead and stick her with Rhea so they can live out their whatever queer baiting dreams or something like that. And yeah, I said it because that's all that is to me between Kathy and Rhea on social, right? And it really, really annoys me. So, let Kathy be a manager and go stick her with Rhea. Maybe Rhea will get off this Dom obsession. He said, since Liv is gone, I think Finn is going to stop bullying Dom. To be honest, he might try to do something, but I don't think he's going to succeed due to Raquel. And I think Dom has enough confidence in himself as the Intercontinental Championship and as somebody who won against Penta that it's not what Finn does is not going to hit as hard because Finn is in a position where he has no title, and he has no he can have some seniority, but he doesn't have the authority now like he used to. And like I said on Monday, what was it the other day? And like I said, it would be really interesting if Finn gets called into question about JD losing. Like even though Finn got taken out, like he was thrown into the New Day on Monday, it would be really interesting to see like the group be getting after Finn like they used to do Dom. Like Dom used to get called out for losing all the time. So it would be really interesting if it gets flipped around where Finn is getting called out for losing. Like, hey, where were you? Why weren't you backing up JD? Because Carlito was doing what he needed to do. So you could get spun around like, hey, you weren't doing anything. You didn't help JD. He had to take a loss, and now he's got to be facing Penta next, tonight if they do that on Monday. And it would just be really interesting if they do that dynamic. And I kind of hope they do. Like put Finn on the spot so he could slowly get this face turn going because I think he needs to be a face. I don't think he can be a heel. Like he's been shitty to Dom, but Dom could be a real, can start being an ass to him, and I think Dom can be the one to pull off Finn's face turn. Jacob says 3 and 13 for Roxanne. Oh yeah, thank you. I knew it was something. It was like 3 and 13 or 3 and 18. Chingy says Triple H be releasing superstars in the wrong way. Yeah, that's my issue too. Like it's like they be in middle of programs and things like that. Like release some of these people that haven't been seen for a while. Like Dakota hasn't been seen for a while, but she was just in a top program. Like it just seems like there could be a lot more grace and a lot more sensitivity with some of these releases. I don't really like. I've never liked how they release wrestlers from contract, or they don't renew their contract, or they just straight up release them. It's just like this. There has to be a better way of doing that. He says, I think Liv deserves medal and should go after the IC belt. She might, but I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know if that would be. I don't know how they would do it now. Barbie Girl said they told him Kenneth Cardin got released. Looked at him watching SmackDown. Damon Priest crying. Yeah, I was talking about No Cell Priest, but when I looked back on it, it was obvious that he was upset. So, so yeah, yeah. Like that was his friend. Angie said, "I'm in shock that Liv was not on the poster for SummerSlam. That's her hometown." And that was another thing about the Rhea thing. Like we know Rhea's going to be plastered all over the poster um for Crown Jewel Perth, but Liv's hometown is going to be where SummerSlam is going to be. She's not even on the poster. I mean, that's really shitty. And people are saying we're hoping that she's gonna be on the other poster, like the other main poster. But for now, it makes no sense for Tiffany to be on there, um, but not Liv. So again, that's really shitty. Um, Virgo says she keeps saying that she lost my boyfriend, she lost my family. Like, whose fault is that? That's hers. It was her shitty actions and her behavior that lost Dom and lost her family. Like, if the ultimatum didn't happen, maybe she would still be with Dom. Maybe it would have been harder for Liv to pull Dom away. But that's she's dealing with the consequences, and like I'm not supposed to be sorry for you because you lost Dom and lost your so-called family, please. And she says, I wonder how Raquel is going to say in the judgment day and how she's going to handle it. Like, what? I think she's going to stay. I think she's fine. And like I said, I want her to be Dom's heavy for these couple of weeks. User says, plus where's Hukilo? He said he signed with the WWE. Yeah, he's been there for like what, a year now, and he hasn't been used. He says I would never want to see Rhea and Dom being in a relationship that was toxic and boring. Yeah, but y'all know me. I like Kane and Lita, so I get toxic, and that's my thing. I can like toxic, but at a certain point, you have to split up, and I never did get why um Dan's got so hell bent on Dom. Like after a certain point, you would think, okay, just go on and split them up. That's how me is. Okay, it was cool for a while. They helped each other. They helped each other get over. Cool, fine. But now Dom needs to go his separate way. You need to go your separate way too, Rhea. But her stands and these are not wrestling fans, so they just think that they just should be together forever when pro wrestling isn't like that. Pro wrestling goes in cycles. You're going to get together, you're going to break up. That's just the nature of the beast. So, and I think that's why we always have to deal with Rhea stands because everybody else wants to move on, but they don't want Dom to move on. It's just like how they were upset that Dom won the Intercontinental title without Rhea. Like, why can't you be happy that Dom won the title? Like, why you had to be sad about him winning without Rhea? Like nobody was sad about Dom not being there when Rhea won her title. So why is it that Dom needs Rhea? Just shit like that. Jacob says Liv has been calling Dom her boyfriend. Yeah, and that makes sense because Dom and Liv claim each other. Dom says Margarita, and Liv says Dom is her boyfriend. So they claim each other. There's no, so there's equal standing there between Liv and Dom. Dom didn't have that with Rhea. Um, Kendall says Liv Dom is more popular and superior than Rhea Dom ever was, and this is true. I've been there. Rhea and Dom got some high views, but Liv and Dom are blowing them out of the water view count wise. So don't let people say that Rhea and Dom were super popular. They were, but Liv and Dom are blowing them out the water. Kenji says Rhea was doing terrible since Dom is not with her. Like Bricolo says, my buddy, my pal, my compadre. Yeah, Rhea is floundering because Dom gave her layers. Like right now, Dom would probably be there to soften the blow of her losing, but she doesn't have that now. So now that she's acting, is because now she's acting and it looks weird because they keep twisting the history and they keep twisting everything where she looks better and it just comes off as fake. It's not her real character. Like we know that she's still this cryberry headbutting person, this bunny boiler. Nothing really feels authentic with Rhea. Meanwhile, with Dom, we know we feel authenticity with Dom with his lucha traditions, like how he acts, even though he's an asshole, he's our asshole. So he has authenticity. Authenticity. Rhea doesn't. Let's see. Kendall says Dom and Raquel brother sister bonding time. Yeah, I want to see that, like where they're just brother and sisters and hanging out. And I think we can see this in these next couple of weeks. He knows that Dom has more confidence than ever right now and has the right supporting cast now by his side. Yeah, see, this is, when he was in the previous Judgment Day iteration, like he was always getting put down. Now everybody's building him up. Carlito, JD, Raquel, Liv. Finn there was too until Finn became the Demented Demon. But this iteration of Judgment Day has been done wonders for Dom's confidence. Me too. Movie filming takes 2 or 3 months. Liver's not going to be back until late July, early August. Tell me you don't know filming without telling me you know filming. Movies do not take that long to film. Unless you're doing some kind of CGI blockbuster thing where you have to be in there and doing some reshoots, it does not take that long to film scenes. We have already heard that not Rhea, we have already heard that Liv will be back around mid-May. That's only a couple of days. And she's already there in Japan. If she does a straight shoot where she's working every day, she could probably film all her scenes and be done and get back. And if they need her to do research, I'm pretty sure they can work around her schedule. They did the same thing with Drew. They did the same thing with CM Punk. They can work around your schedule. And then when Seth was gone for a little bit filming for the Marvel stuff, we didn't even know he was gone. Like he would go and film and then he would come back. So there's ways of doing things and filming things. So just because, you're expecting Liv to be there for like the entire shoot of the movie, she may not have to be there for the entire shoot. She might just have her little parts in a locked room, do her scenes, they'll shoot it out of order, and then she'll back. It doesn't take that long. Um, and you says I want Dom to FaceTime with Liv while she's out. See, that's another thing too. You can still have Liv do FaceTimes. You have Liv do calls. You have Liv do text messages or pre-tapes. There's plenty of ways to bring Liv into the storyline without her actually physically being there. So we may not miss her actually. Um, but that is that is it. Like I said, think of the people that have been released. Even though you may not like them all, they're released and they lost their job. Hopefully, I hope and pray um, they end up all these released wrestlers end up on their feet wherever they go. TNA. I'm not even sure they want to go to TNA now. Probably either AEW, ROH, somewhere. Independence, Japan. Hopefully they land on their feet. For the tag team division, um, Triple H needs to get off his ass, get his head out of his ass, and start booking them correctly. And we need teams, and that's all we can say about it. Otherwise, it's just that we just have a dead division. Um, I'll be back maybe on Sunday for Raw review. To see what else has come out. Remember, we have JD versus Penta on Monday. If we don't get nothing else announced on Sunday, then I might not come on because we just know it's been JD and Penta. If we get something else, like with Raquel or with Dom, then I'll come on and then we'll talk about it. Or if we get some more information, I'll come on and talk about it. But until then, I will see y'all guys on Monday for the Monday Night Raw review. Um, and hopefully, we have some nice, interesting information or we have some nice storyline progression with Judgment Day on Monday. Um, until next time, I will talk to y'all guys later. Thanks for joining me impromptu. Bye bye for now.